Hello, property nomads. Hope you're well. Savills released an article recently saying that they believe, due to their forecasts, that the average house price is going to reach just over £300,000 in the UK in 2028. Now, whether that's true or not, we will find out by 2028. But it's interesting that with their financial analysis and how they do things, that they believe that the worst of the house price falls are behind us. We've seen, certainly in the last 12 months or so, around a little bit of a dip with regards to housing. So depending on whether you've got property or you're looking to buy property, the idea that the average house price will go up to £300,000 or could go up to £300,000 by 2028. Now, that will depend on your point of view and where you are in the market. But what the most telling factor is, in their analysis, they believe that the worst of the house price falls are behind us. Now, I find that personally very, very interesting, because if you look at a lot of financial commentators in the USA, they are predicting that things are going to get a lot worse before they get better. In fact, I say the same thing, that things are going to get an awful lot worse before they get a lot better. And what does getting worse look like? Well, getting worse could look like a banking crisis, another one. Getting worse could mean that the stock markets completely collapse. Getting worse will mean that there will be a deep worldwide recession. And all of these things I believe. And that indicates that things are going to get an awful lot worse before they get better. So very interesting that Savills have said that they believe the worst of the worst is behind us. But I would disagree with that sentiment. This is why we've got to take these articles with a pinch of salt. All of that being said, we really won't know what's going to happen until 2028. There's a lot of other issues out there at the moment, geopolitical issues, etc., etc., etc. Possibly I'm being a bit too gloomy. Maybe I'm just being realistic. But all of that being said, they get paid to look at this stuff, and I'm sure that whether that's just a headline topping thing for them, I don't really know. But if that were to happen, then yes, if you are sat there with a bunch of property and you are there with a decent portfolio, you'll probably like the fact that house prices are likely to increase. If you're looking to get into the property market, or first time buyer, whatever it is, whatever position you're in, then you might find that that's probably not a good piece of news for you. And very interestingly, what the article doesn't tell you straight away, because you have to sort of go diving through it, is that all these forecasts apply to the second-hand property market. So, for example, they don't include new builds because they just won't have the same rate. They won't have the same level. The chances are there'll always be that premium there. So, new builds might cost even more. So, interesting is the way that I would summarize the article by Savills. Again, I guess with all sorts of forecasting, you've got to, sometimes it's just good to create a forecast for the sake of creating a forecast. But I would disagree strongly with their sentiment that the worst of the worst of house prices or house price falls are behind us. I totally disagree with that. I think they've got a lot further to fall, purely because of everything we discussed at the start, the geopolitical tensions and risks at the moment, potential banking crises, not just in the USA but worldwide, stock market meltdowns, etc., etc. But as we always say on Property Nomads, we're here to be realistic, and it's our belief that things are going to get a lot worse before they get a lot better. So ultimately, watch this space. Let's see what happens. Keep up to date on the YouTube channel. We try and produce as much YouTube content as we can. The YouTube content is predominantly different from podcast content. So we always say to everyone, please do go and subscribe to both the YouTube channel and the podcast. We're available on iTunes, Spotify, etc., etc. I'll try and provide as much information as we can for you moving forward. See you in the next video.